Hi, guys. Today I want to talk about something that I've been currently going through and really figuring out what it means to me and how to move through it. And that is getting complacent with your desires. I realized I was getting too cozy and okay with my desires just staying desires. I was okay with crumbs instead of fully claiming what I wanted. Let's talk about why that happens and how I've been shifting that energy. A few months ago, I have been getting led to just being more comfortable with desiring and enjoying my desires and just desiring things in general. I think what ended up happening was that I got so comfortable desiring, I got so comfortable with visualizing the things that I said that I wanted that I was okay with them not really happening. And of course, at the end of the day, we do want to be detached from our desires, but also we have to, at a certain point, be willing to stand in them and claim them and be willing to be uncomfortable to have those desires. And the thing about being uncomfortable is that when you are in survival mode, you are already comfortably uncomfortable. So it's like doing all these extra things to get uncomfortable for your desires seems like such a stretch because you're like, girl, technically I am uncomfortable. I'm just uncomfortable existing. But there's a difference between the uncomfortability that you face in the survival mode that you are in and the uncomfortability that you face when you are willing to shift things around and try new things and be bold in order to bring your desires into your actual experience. And then you end up staying in this holding pattern of, oh, like I'm desiring this thing, it's not here yet, or saying, like, I can't afford it, but I know that I desire it, or like, once I have this, then I know that this desire will be able to come. But no, 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 no. Like all the stories that you have attached to your desires have to go. You have to stop being so comfortable desiring all the time. And this is a level, another layer that I am exploring right now because at first it was like, okay, you have to be comfortable desiring. You have to be okay with having these desires that you have. And then it was okay, you have to be able to detach from your desires and be okay whether they come or not. And then it's like now I'm at this other level where it's like, okay, you're okay desiring. You're okay if they happen or if they don't happen. But now you're okay being in this holding pattern with your desires and just visualizing and daydreaming all the time instead of actually being able to get uncomfortable and address any other limiting beliefs and any other things that you are claiming around the things that you actually want to experience. You don't want to just desire for your entire life. You don't want to settle for crumbs. You want to actually have those things. You want to actually experience them. And so it's taking your desires from just being that and actually manifesting them into your reality. And that takes you getting uncomfortable. That takes effort. And that takes you to stop saying things like, oh, I can't afford my desire right now. Or, oh, once I get my next client, then I can have that desire. No, collapse all timelines and just decide and claim that you get to have it now because you want it now. You don't have to be modest about it. You don't have to settle. It's really what it is it's settling. And I realized that I was settling for things in a lot of other areas of my life. And I think because I had got so comfortable settling in those other areas, I didn't even realize how I really was also settling in my business and other areas of my life too. And it's like, everything is always connected. And what starts as a bad habit in one area of your life can so quickly spill off into other areas. When you're finally cleaning it all up, you're like, oh my God, I actually have been doing that habit here, it's popped up over here and here and here. This is just something that I know that I have had to address here recently. I want to start doing more videos where I talk about the things that I am currently like in the process of releasing and moving through because I think there's so much power in the things that we are currently going through, the things that we are currently working through. And a lot of times when people are on social media, they feel the pressure that it's like, oh, I need to be an expert. Like I need to have figured everything out. And you don't have to have everything figured out. And people like it when you show up as who you are today, authentically, and the things that you are actually currently working through. And of course, you can talk about the things that you've already learned and worked through, but also it feels really good and cathartic for me to talk about something that I am right now currently moving through and processing. And then also, when you create that content, you're transmuting it as well and you're expressing yourself. And it also helps you to work through it and process it faster as well. So I realized I had to, first of all, recognize where I was settling. And I looked around and I was like, okay, well, I'm not okay that I have not went to Australia and Japan and New Zealand yet. I'm not okay that I don't have $10,000 months consistently. I'm not okay that I have not taken more steps for my public speaking. I'm not okay that I do not have my apartment. And it was just all these things that I had got comfortable with not having them. I had got comfortable settling. And it's like, no, I'm not comfortable. I'm not okay. I am happy without them. I'm good without them. And that was a level and a lesson that I had to learn. But now, beyond that, it's now saying, okay, yeah, I'm happy with or without it. But I do know now that I do prefer to have it in my experience and I'm worthy to have it in my experience. And because I desire to have it in my experience, I know that I can have it in my experience today. Like it's not like some 6 month thing away. It doesn't have to be a year away. It doesn't have to be once this, then this, like none of that matters. I can just decide today that like I'm not okay with any of that and that I want those things in my life and I'm deciding that they are mine. I am claiming they are mine because they're in my vortex. And so I want you to ask yourself, where have you been settling? Where have you been accepting crumbs? Where have you got comfortable with saying that I desire this or I'm looking forward to when I can get this and I know once this comes in that I can have this. Where have you gotten comfortable with settling? Instead of fully stepping into your dream life and saying, no, I'm not okay with the bare minimum. No, I'm not okay not having that in my life. Actually, I'm happy without it. I know I can live without it, but the experience that I prefer to have has it in it. And that's okay. So, the framework that I kind of have been using to move through this is actually from this woman that I've been following recently here on YouTube. Her name is Laika Lutanska. I think I'm saying that right. This is the framework that I've been using for all the things that I say that I desire. And I've been saying things like, oh, it's not the right time, or I can't afford it right now, or it's just not in reach for some reason at this moment, even though I desire it. And so, what I've been doing is, first of all, is the desire truly authentic to me? Is this something that I actually really do desire? If it's a yes, then okay, great. Like, we're probably past that point, right? If you've been cozying up with this desire for a while. Number two, this is kind of two questions in one, but what are the consequences of you going after this desire, like having this desire? And what are the consequences if you do not go after this desire, if you do not ever get it? What are the consequences on both sides? And then what are the fears and limiting beliefs that come up around this topic? Like maybe the one thing you say is, oh, I can't afford it. But there's also some other fears that you have, not just besides the money. Like it's usually not just the money. That's usually not the only reason. There's usually other fears and worries like, oh, well, I don't know if I'll be able to maintain it, or like, I don't know if I'm actually worthy of it. Just other fears and limiting beliefs that can come up, and those have to be addressed. And this one is like the one that hit the hardest for me. Are you willing to be uncomfortable for this desire? Is this desire worthy of you being uncomfortable? Whatever that uncomfortability looks like. If that's asking to borrow money and you never ask anybody for anything, or maybe it's you taking a splurge on buying a course and you know things are going to be tight for a couple of weeks. Like, obviously, I'm not saying your account maybe is going to zero, but maybe it's just going to be a little tight for a minute, but it's worth it. Maybe it's you investing in something for your business to take it to the next level. Are you okay with moving through that uncomfortability? Because that's what it takes to shift you into something different. When it's comfortable, it's something you already know. When it's comfortable, you're familiar with it. It's where you are now, babe. Like that's comfortability. It's familiar. You're done it. It's where you are. With that uncomfortability, that next level, there has to be a shakeup. There has to be a little rumble. Not saying it has to be painful, but it can be a little uncomfortable. And it's usually always just a little bit of discomfort. It's never like somebody like punching you dead in the face or like, like anything super crazy. Usually it's just some belief that you have that this uncomfortability is greater than your desire and you mask it with the I can't afford it, or you mask it with the it'll come one day soon when this happens, or whatever else you are claiming about your desire, except for that it is absolutely and completely yours right now. You have to stop perpetuating the stories of why it hasn't happened yet and decide that it is happening now. It is happening today, immediately, here, now. And daydreaming is fun. Like having desires and visualizing and just daydreaming every day about them, it's fun, but it's also a form of escapism. And eventually, if you want those desires to actually manifest in your reality, you have to do the energetic and mindset work for them to come to you, or sometimes the physical work. And I think it's really interesting that I'm having this realization during Pisces season. And literally, as I'm filming this today, this is the Pisces new moon. And Pisces is all about dreams, right? And desires. So I just think that this video is so fitting, and what I'm moving through and working through is so interesting. And I'm really excited to see the shift, because the thing about me is, like, I moved so quick. I don't learn and move through things in like standard linear time. Like, I'm a quantum leaper, I'm a quantum jumper. Like, the moment I decide, it's done. Like, as soon as I realize the blocks that I have, I'm like, all right, let's move. We're done. It's move the chapter. So technically, this is something that I really realized a couple days ago, but like, I'm I'm pretty much already completely shifted through this, and that's why I was excited to talk about this today. So yeah, don't just desire, decide. And I want you guys to think about, where have you been comfortable just wanting instead of actually deciding that it is yours now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks. Bye.